Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Time Out with Sports Adda. Good morning, Arun. Usually, I ask how are you feeling about yesterday's match, but today I assume like you're feeling really happy.
You can see the smile on my face, can't you? Or is it
Absolutely.
all hidden behind the beard? But thank you, Akhil. And in case you're confused why, people watching, if you're confused why, Akhil wore a yellow T-shirt showing support to Chennai Super Kings, and boy, did we win yesterday!
Yellow Army. I joined the Yellow Army for like half an hour yesterday, and that's the impact that the fans have who are not even attending the match at the stadium. But
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, what a match! I mean, Chennai started off on a bad note in that opener, but to see them play the way they did yesterday, I was really delighted.
I think it's about
Us,
the toss, Arun. It's really about the toss. They lost the toss in the first game and they struggled in the beginning. Yesterday they won the toss. So Dhoni had made a very nice point in the first match. If you remember, half an hour early start is causing
yes,
like a lot of difference in the pitches here. So I mean, it showed yesterday what Mayank got yesterday. The first wicket. I don't think anybody
ooh,
would have been able to play that ball.
ball of the IPL, perhaps, or ball of this
Yeah, so
IPL at
far,
least, surely. I mean,
so far,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, ball of all IPL. I mean, we are fans. We can only live by what we remember, what we saw yesterday. But wow, what a delivery that was! That was a test match pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah. You had mentioned about Deepak Chahar for Prithvi Shaw in the previous match, if you remember, that he had to
Yeah.
worry about Deepak Chahar and there was no swing. But he found
Hmm.
the swing yesterday and he showed why he's such a lethal bowler when the ball starts nipping around. Uh,
Yeah.
good show in the end. I mean, the match finished on time yesterday, which was also very rare occasion. The first half finished
First time,
exactly at 9.
first first time this season that 20 overs were bowled in time. I was clocking it.
Was it because Dhoni got fined in the first match?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, if you watch that, there was one LBW appeal where Dhoni actually told Chahar, "Chale, ja, go back to your mark." You know, I think now, with MS Dhoni conscious about time and penalties and a 12 lakh fine, was it or whatever? I mean, I think a lot. All captains need to take note that you can't take
I agree.
fans for a ride. There are kids
Yeah.
watching, there are people who are working watching. You can't keep them awake till about 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
Indian time, obviously, but good to see MS winning a game. It was sweeter because it was his 200th game for Chennai,
Hmm.
and yeah, nice to see him win that game.
I asked you one question yesterday when the match was happening, and while Chahar absolutely reaped the rewards of a good wicket and he bowled line and length, but I think Jadeja's contribution in the beginning, getting the best batsman in the opposition out with a direct hit, these are the kind of contributions which are not reflected in a scorecard. But if you see a Jadeja kind of a player, every match he's contributing with such important dismissals. Do you remember
Hmm.
any dismissal where any match where a fielder has got a man of the match in a white ball cricket?
The one we can instantly recall, and I think you mentioned that when we spoke about this yesterday, was the Jonty Rhodes 5 catches.
Yeah,
Still the only fielder to take 5 catches. We spoke
yeah.
about it when we did the Legends tournament a few weeks ago.
Hmm.
Still the only fielder after all those years to take 5 catches in an ODI innings. Uh, Other than that, I can't really. I mean, I honestly haven't looked back at it. Uh, but yeah, like you said, Jadeja, the influence he has on the field, outstanding. I was just looking at one picture posted on Twitter this morning, Akhil.
Hmm.
Uh, KL Rahul is mid pitch, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Jadeja is about 4 yards or 5 yards away from the ball. For him to run couple of yards, obviously the ball's traveling to him. So to run a couple of yards towards the ball, pick it up, the arm speed and bullseye. KL Rahul is this much short of the crease. That's the difference that man can do.
Amazing. One only good positive thing for Punjab yesterday was that their quick bowlers bowled well. They didn't go for too many runs. Both the foreign overseas fast bowlers bowled well, showed some fire in their armory, and the way they got Suresh Raina out and they put the batsman on the back foot, that must be a positive sign for Anil Kumble, and I'm sure they'll like to build on it.
We're looking for positives, aren't we? I
It's very
honestly
early in
wouldn't
the
call it a.
tournament.
I know, I know. I don't know if I would count that as a positive. I've seen Riley Meredith operate in Australia and the Big Bash. He's all about pace, right? His pace, he can be
Hmm. Hmm.
I just lost you for a brief bit, Kille, but he can be wavered at times. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not so sure about Riley Meredith in the 11 yet. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, lovely. So while our regular chat will continue today, we have something very interesting. We have a guest today that we want to invite on the show. Somebody who's seen Indian cricket for many years in a very nice avatar in the beginning, like a very different avatar in the beginning, and now she's doing a different role. So I wanted to invite my friend and a long time friend actually, Harini Rana, onto the show today. So can we get Harini on the show, please? Hi,
Hey, there
Harini.
she
Very
is.
good morning
Hello,
and
Harini.
welcome.
Hi Arun, hi Akhil, good to be here.
How's it going? You're in lockdown at home. All of us are in lockdown at home. So, are you following the cricket through just social media, or you're busy with the game also somehow?
No, I think there's IPL keeps everybody busy, so there's plenty and more to keep myself busy. And yeah, I think it's just the situation that we all are. At least the good part is that we have sport to sort of lean back on for those 3 or 4 hours, and then beyond that, there's work that keeps us busy. So
Your
it is what it
Instagram
is. Let's
your
hope for better
Instagram
times.
videos are nice. They're giving us different options to choose from, like we are variety of cricketers. So that's a good one that you're doing on
Yes, so
Instagram.
let me plug that in. Anybody who's tuning in, that's Instagram and Twitter handle at Harini Rana. Go follow, like, share.
Fantastic. So I wanted to. This show is about cricket, Harini. We are cricket fans, and the objective is to get some interesting cricket fans who've traveled, who've seen cricket in various angles on the show, and just talk normal cricket with us. And you've obviously been a part of the fraternity for so long. You've traveled across the cricketing world, seen matches live, spoken to cricketers, have inside stories about them, which we won't get into right now. But if you can just tell us a few nice stories, maybe if you can tell us which is the best country that you found to cover cricket and work on, that will be great for us.
I think, Akhil, as a sort of sports broadcaster or journalist, you always have that in mind, right? Like for players, it's always England or in Australia, like playing at Lords or playing at the MCG. So as a journalist as well, when you start out, you're always thinking of a World Cup, you're always thinking of covering cricket in Australia or England. And I think I'm grateful that I could actually cover big tournaments or big events in Australia at least 4 times, in England as well, for more than 4 or 5 times that I've covered cricket or sport. And I
I've
think
got to
first,
jump in. Sorry, I've got to jump in, Harini. You mentioned both these countries. Which stadium in both these countries has the best lunch or best tea?
I'm a vegetarian. So
Uh, Never mind. I mean, I'm a vegetarian too, but I think the lunch spread Adelaide maybe.
Adelaide, yeah, I'd go with Adelaide. I'd go with Adelaide. And in London, I think I still go with Lords, even though there's not much of vegetarian options, but I do love scones. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
think I'll go with
lovely.
Lords.
Yeah, lovely. I completely agree.
And okay, so going back to the question, Akhil, essentially, I think Australia comes close because it's just been different experiences every time that I've gone to that country. And I think when yesterday, generally, I was thinking about it and I was cleaning up actually while we were at home. I was doing a bit of cleaning as well. And I landed up with this article that reminds me of my trip in Australia. So this is about
Hmm.
2011 when everybody was chasing Sachin's 100th 100, which
Hmm.
is also sort of supposed to happen. And the results were not that great. We were losing the test series 4-0 in Australia. But the only great thing was, suddenly there is this senior journalist of Herald Sun. He is covering cricket at Adelaide. And he suddenly comes to the press box and he's like, okay, there's so many guys here and there's only one girl. So he came up to me and he started having a conversation with me, saying that, how do you feel? Like, there's so many guys here and the only girl that I see you is here. And then generally we started having a conversation. And he didn't tell me that he's going to be writing an article. Eventually, next day when the article appeared, he just gave me the copy, right? And he must have gone onto my social media and he sort of took a picture. And during the course of our conversation, he sort of figured my background and stuff like that. And, he wrote a very nice article. So when I came to the press box, Shaz, Ravi, and Wasim were already sort of commentating, or they'd done the pre-show. So I actually have an article. I don't know if you guys can see. This is Herald Sun,
Yes, we
and that's
can.
the article.
Nice.
And
Rana's
I think
happy
it's
with
signed
the
by Shaz
pitch.
and Vaz both, because when I came in, they'd already signed this and they're like, "Arey yaar, tu to badi ho gayi hai," and all of that. And the article starts very nicely. It says that she's the proverbial rose among the thorns, but Harini is not faced at
Nice.
being the only woman in the largest cricket contingent visiting Melbourne for a test match. So what happened is, after this, I get a call from Julia Gillard, who was the former Prime Minister, from her office, saying that Ms. Gillard would like to invite you because she's read the story and it'd be really nice if you can drop by. So I went to the Kirribilli house and it was an amazing
Nice.
experience. And after that, I think the Australian Broadcast Company, ABC, which is the official broadcaster in Australia, they also invited me. So I think Australia has given me a lot of sort of different experiences beyond cricket. And I think the whole sort of openness of being a girl in sport is extremely appreciated. And I think that sort of comes really close to me. And yeah, I think even last year as well, last March that I was in Australia, it was incredible to see Australian government actually have a ministry for women in sport, which is an official designated ministry, and their job is to encourage more
Wow.
girls to take up sport. So
And you
I
were
think that's
invited as
incredible.
one of the rare people to come and watch the finals there, isn't it? That you're very humble to mention that, but they actually sent you an invite to come and watch the game and like be a part of the event.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was government of Australia who had invited 25 members from 25 countries across the world, and from India they had picked. So mostly it was meant for athletes. Very few non-athletes were invited. So from India, I was the non-athlete who was invited, apart from three athletes who were part of the contingent.
Nice.
And this was obviously an invite by government of Australia, and the whole idea was they were building up to the Women's Day, which was Fill the MCG campaign of the Women's T20 World Cup. And during the course of those 4 days, which was a business summit for women in sport, they had the likes of Billie Jean King, a lot of other Olympians from Australia who were part of it. But obviously, the star attraction was Billie Jean King. But apart from that, there were a lot of Olympians from Australia itself who'd gathered, and there were different sort of topics that everybody was discussing and issues at hand. And it was just grateful to see it was so pleasing to see the kind of work that's been done in Australia.
Yeah.
And how women in sport essentially is something which is a main area of focus, which is extremely pleasing. Like, they have dedicated budgets, they have dedicated marketing spends
Wow.
for it, and there is a complete effort. Like, if you see what happened at the MCG with 80 plus thousand
Yeah.
coming in, it just wasn't ICC. It was a support that came in from all sides, local organizing committee, government of Australia, and it was a whole budget that was put together to just promote the sport. If you sort of, when I landed in Melbourne, I think on 1st of March, I could see Fill the MCG plastered all over the Melbourne airport, and then when you're going into the city. So that's like a lot of effort with all different sort of entities coming together with a common goal, that here's an event and here's a sport that we need to make popular. So I think that was great learnings if any country wants to sort of be serious and contribute towards elevating women in sport.
Fantastic. So you spoke about the World Cup, that the Women's World Cup final, but I want to take two thoughts before we get on to today's game. I want like two nice stories from you about two big incidents that you've covered, the 2011 World Cup, and then we'll have the special one, 2019 World Cup final after that. So 2011, obviously a big landmark. All of us are in that age where we'll remember that forever. Any memories, any special memories around the 2011 World Cup final and covering that?
Yeah, I think all of us will probably remember that, because we don't know when are we going to see that again, right? I sort of was
2023.
covering. Yeah. Fingers crossed. We are always hopeful Indian fans. Yeah. But the first time that I saw World Cup victory was the T20 World Cup that we won in South Africa. So that was like a trailer. I was like, "Acha, wow, okay, India's won the World Cup. It was good fun, a lot of celebrations, and it was away from the country." So you could not sort of. I mean, you were excited that India has won, but there was only that much of that hangover of that victory. But 2011 was special because obviously it was happening in India and being at 1K Day, and that's the first time, like, I mean, everybody would agree here who was at 1K Day, that's the first time that we've seen a different kind of crowd at 1K Day. Otherwise the kind of crowd that you see at 1K Day is completely different. So this was like a select crowd that had managed to get those tickets, which were so expensive, sold to be so expensive, but anyways. So I think in terms of memory, just to be there at the ground, watching this moment unfold, and after that, in terms of just the craziness that unfolded and the stories, and I think it was crazy, right? Like we were rolling live till about what, 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. non-stop. That was when I was at Times Now. Arnav was also in the studio at that time. And we just went on and on. And then next day morning, we were up and about at 6 a.m. So we had like a 2-hour gap in between. Then, obviously there were special shows. By those times, interviews were happening at the Taj Hotel where the team was staying, apart from the celebrations that everybody was part of. I think the interviews started happening. So it was, my memory is pretty much being awake through the night. Thankfully, my family was also there at 1K Day, so they were like really enjoying it, and they could actually really enjoy and celebrate the victory. But I was pretty much outside 1K Day after the match got over, after everything got over at the ground, outside the 1K Day, covering the whole sort of everybody coming out in open cars, and then we moved towards Taj. Obviously, the entry was an issue, but we all had booked ourselves into the hotel because we sort of knew that if the Indian team wins, then it's going to be crazy to get access to the hotel. Yeah. So everybody was parked in. So we went inside. And then, I think it was just like a long night of doing lives, trying to get interviews. There's a lot of pressure that, okay, and you know how news channels work, right? If one channel gets an interview, you are like really stressed about it and all of that. But it was a moment that everybody was taking things in a very spirited way. And I think in terms of the high point of covering a World Cup, I mean, it was unbelievable, especially when India won. And then going back to 2019, I think it was a crazy day, right? I think 21st
crazy.
of June. It was a crazy day. 19th of June, I still remember 2019. And I was in London, and it was a Wimbledon final. It was a World Cup final.
And a Wimbledon final with the players that were playing were...
and keeping pace with each other, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Silverstone Grand Prix happening. So all three happening on that Sunday weekend in UK. And I had actually been lucky that I'd managed to get a ticket for myself at the Wimbledon final as well, because I was there a week ago, and it was a phenomenal experience. I was like, I have to make myself at least not the whole match while I'll be at the World Cup. So here I was, like, woke up early in the morning, went to the Lords, saw the first half, and then I was like, yeah, ye Wimbledon to jana chahiye, like never in my life am I going to get an opportunity when I have a ticket for Wimbledon final as well, that I must at least go. So I went there for I made the trek from Lords to Wimbledon, which is completely different direction. So it's quite a tedious sort of journey, and went all the way back to SW19, saw a couple of sets there, and then by the time I figured that this final of World Cup is getting interesting, so then I made the trek back to Lords, and I pretty much saw the last 30 overs,
wow.
And we saw all that unfolded. But I think it was phenomenal, right? Just to be there on both this biggest sporting event on that day. I would take it. Purists would say that, oh, you should just watch one. But I was like, dude, if I have an opportunity to watch both of them, I'll watch. Even if it's okay if I'm sort of watching something on the mobile, it's fine. But I think it was phenomenal to
really
just be
awesome.
there. To sort of soak in that experience. So sport has given me an opportunity to travel, experience different things, and always grateful for it.
Lovely. What a fantastic experience. I mean, this story deserves a complete episode in all totality. And I would love to know where Arun was also watching.
Forget where Arun was watching, but I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't be surprised in a few years' time if somebody comes up with a quiz question saying who is the only person to have watched both these events live, we know the
Arun, you know
answer.
where to, Arun, you know where to plug in that quiz question now. Next time, whoever
Absolutely.
approaches you for a quiz, you know who to.
Absolutely. But
Fantastic.
yeah, I mean, I was watching those games from the studio. Yeah, man, it was some game. And once it ended in a tie, all the frenetic, reading of the laws and the playing conditions to know what happened. Before that there was that overthrow event, so that kind of centers
Correct.
looking for was that decision right or wrong. I mean, lots happened that day.
Yeah,
And
and those seconds were like, everybody was on the stands and they were like, what just happened? Like nobody could gather. And obviously the good part is that everyone's got a radio headphone
Yeah.
in UK. So at least, there were commentators who also took a few seconds to actually sort of make that announcement. But yeah, it was like nobody was sure what's happening. And then everybody sort of suddenly, when that commentator came in and everybody heard it on the radio, all the English fans sort of jumped.
Yeah. Just going back briefly to that, Kumar Dharmasena, that I still maintain that decision was wrong. The overthrows one. He signaled something like this, I think. If you watch the visual of that, he does something like this. Funnily, it's an incorrect decision. I still maintain it. I was in Sri Lanka a couple of months ago, and one brand actually has signed him up, and the poster they've put up is this. And every time I passed it, I was like, of all the photographs you have of Kumar Dharmasena, why would you choose this?
World Cup winner.
Because that's the one that gave him most exposure, you see.
Yeah, I mean, come on. They can be smarter. But sorry.
For the right
fantastic.
reasons or the wrong reasons.
Yeah, true. Let's quickly jump on to today's game. Mumbai, Hyderabad. We know where Harini is leaning towards, which side Harini is leaning towards.
Interesting
Yeah,
game.
my home team, always my home team. Akhil, you better support Mumbai. Huh? You're also Mumbaikar.
I'm a cricket fan. I want the league to get like close, and I hope Hyderabad start like get.
But this league is supposed to be take sides, right? This league is all about taking sides. So I think you should go for Mumbai. There are two Mumbai supporters. I've just announced.
I think it's again going to be a toss-related thing. Mumbai still are stronger to lose the toss and still chase whatever totals down. I think this kind of pitch, even Surya can still play on this kind of pitch because he's such a fantastic player of spin bowling. And I hope Rashid gets to bowl to him today because that is the real contest. Rashid bowling to Surya, Ishan and Hardik in the middle order. That is probably the biggest challenge that Rashid will also face in terms of batting firepower. So that's the real contest I'm looking forward to.
I'll just say one thing, Akhil, and I've maintained this. Mumbai are several notches above the rest of the pack. Yeah. And I'm not just talking about this league, but I'm talking about T20 sides around the world. I think Mumbai is several notches above. They'll have to play badly, and some other team, their opponents will have to play, let's say, 120% to kind of, meet somewhere. Otherwise, Mumbai favorites for me.
And the format is such that they can't have one bad day. They need to have 2 bad days, which is going to be very rare with the kind of firepower. They have like 8 to 9 match winners from among 11 people. It's going to be 2 bad days that will be required for anybody else to win the title.
Harini's just taken offense to the fact that you've said 8 to 9 and not 11. A lot of Mumbai Indians guys are going to write a written complaint.
No, it's fine. We are the defending champions. We just let our performance do the talking. But nevertheless, what I'm saying is, I think it's going to be a good match, right? Both the teams are coming. Mumbai, the way sort of they won. They probably won the game in the last 5 overs. Hyderabad, they should have probably won the game that they lost against RCB. But I guess Chennai conditions, I do believe that Mumbai would probably have a better hang of it, even though Sunrisers is pretty much, if you look at the track record, they're pretty much always, if not all the times, more often than not made it to the playoffs. So they are a strong team. It's about cracking the Chennai conditions. I think it's a completely different ball game. Maybe advantage here is with Mumbai because they know the experience and they've sort of played here 2 games. So head to head, there's barely anything to choose from, 8 all. But I think I go with Mumbai purely because they have that, and the confidence they would have picked up from last game is immense in terms
Amazing.
of just believing in themselves and defending that kind of a total. Because if you look at the average score at Chennai this season is probably not much to choose. We've just had a few games,
Yeah.
but about 160, 162. So to defend that kind of a total with the bowling lineup that they have, and I think a lot of credit goes to Rohit Sharma, especially for the last game, in terms of how he just sort of had that belief, maneuvered
Yeah.
his bowling attack, and also
Beautiful.
the few placements that he had. I think in terms of leadership, I think he was phenomenal, and that's, I guess, the reason why he probably is the most successful or the impactful T20 captain. And I go with Mumbai.
Last words before we wrap. If it's a Mumbai Kolkata game, you just have to tell the Kolkata guys your opponent is Mumbai, and that's the match settled. If Sunrisers are playing, no matter who the opponent just walks into the Sunrisers Hyderabad and tells them it's Chennai, where they've never won. I think there's 0-4 at Chennai. So heavily loaded today in favor of Mumbai, I'd say, Akhil.
Okay,
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
Then Mumbai, it is in a majority. I have no say then. No Hyderabad today. Mumbai from all
So
of
all
us
three,
today.
right? Akhil, you're also supporting Mumbai now, na?
I'm always supporting Mumbai, but I'm hoping
Great.
Hyderabad at least put up a good fight. I want Williamson to play. That's the only thing I want today.
You know Hyderabad are the only team without points on the board at
Exactly.
this stage.
Yeah.
It'll be nice if they can open. I don't know if they want to open today or if they want to open in Chennai or somewhere else, but we'll see how things pan out.
Okay, lovely, fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Harini, and thank you so
Thanks,
much again,
Akhil.
Arun.
Thanks, Arun. Lovely to be speaking to you guys on Saturday morning.
Good fun speaking cricket on Saturday morning. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much and have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow.
Have a great
Thank you.
weekend and stay safe, everybody.
Thank you, Aini. You too. Bye-bye.